I am a version of consciousness. That's all I am is, you see. What is appearing now is this version of consciousness that appears to be separate from another version of consciousness, or types of layers of consciousness. But there is something talking as if it has some sort of right, some sort of entitlement to talk on behalf of consciousness. But it's the mind that is talking on behalf of something that it only partly represents, you see. The body is only a part representation of what I am. This flesh and blood and bones are just little intricacies of believing in a thought that I am something special, that I am something worthwhile, that I am something different from the space around, or the hills, or the trees. So what we do in our life, or what I do in my life, or what I did in my life, and are still doing in my life, is examining the body, and examining the body and its position in this spatial unreality. Or you can call it spatial reality, what matters not, in this spatial experience. So the mind can only examine what it knows with what it knows. So this mind is conditioned into knowing to speak in a language that we call English, and it knows about words in English. It can learn other languages, but the languages it learns is the same words. So if the English language is saying that's the tree, and there's another word for it in Spanish, you're still talking about the same thing. So the words mean the same thing, the tree, or whatever this thing is that we kind of cannot come together with, because of whatever. So the mind can only examine its own language, can only examine its own thoughts, its own body. But the thoughts are not just pertinent to the human body. The thoughts are pertinent to something far more deeper within the consciousness I am. So when I say, who am I? And the ignorance of body, name, all these fictitious, or these answers that come from a human element, when they're thrown to the side, there's a further discovery of something more about the consciousness I am. You see? It's like being in a pot of soup. Yeah? And the soup is not blended. The soup has many ingredients, and you're looking for the carrots in the soup, you see, and you find all the carrots. You say, well, I found the whole soup. No, you haven't found the potatoes, the turnips, the chicken, whatever it is you put, lentils, the barley, whatever it is you put in your soup. So the quickest way is to just examine the unexaminable. You see, how can I examine the blended soup? What can I find within the blended soup? It's all the same, you see. There's no ingredients that can be, unless you're some sort of needful scientist that, oh yes, I can see atoms and molecules that came from the turnip and whatever, further examination of the human language. So the conditioned mind is all the human knows. We are spouting out the same information repetitively every day, every century, until you examine further the consciousness that is available to be examined. But what can you examine it with without using the human mind, you see? You can examine it with the emotional sensory body and let the body do the talking. Let the body do the thinking, not this element, this human element that has been stuck on as a kind of reward. Yeah, you managed to become a human now. Here we have a brain, you can have it, but don't venture far from this brain, because you're not. I don't think you're not. God says, I don't think you're capable, because you're human. You see, you're naive. You're very one-sided. You're very singular. You're very conditioned. You're very lazy and reliant on the past, and hoping that someone discovers the future for you. You see, the conditioned mind is just programmed information. This is programmed information spouting out, using words and language and meanings and thoughts, and just using the body to say, I know something more than what is within this body. You see, I know all about this world. You see, I can give it names. You see, no, you didn't give it names. The names were given. You accepted names. I call the chair wood. Someone calls it the chair. I call it a seating element. No, it's a chair. I call it upholstered seat. No, it's a chair. You see, we're always looking at our own meaning, our own conditioned way, and what we describe as objects. But these are just names and sounds and syllables and something to argue and put your position. This is my position. You better like my position, because I know a lot more than you. I'm a quizzer, I know everything about words, I know everything. I know it's a chair. I know I can call it so many things. I can call it wood. I can call it plastic. I can call it steel. Whatever I can call it anything I like, even though it doesn't look like that, because that's my conditioned mind. I need to be in control of my body. I need to be in control of my mind. I need to be in control of my language. I need to be in control of this world. And that's when the humans step over the mark and they say, let's control the world. Let's just obliterate, and build whatever things they have to build, The conditioned mind is just a way of saying, I'm a human, I'm going to go through the motions, and if it's okay, it's okay. If it's not, it's not. Then and whatever happens, I'll come back, or I'll not come back. The fact is, you won't come back because there's nothing to come back. You see, the idea that there's just a little part, the carrots in the soup cannot come back, you see, without the rest of the ingredients, So next time I come back, I might be a turnip, in the soup. Or I may be looking for the turnips, the soup. But the observer is not the soup. The observer is not the ingredients. The observer is not the human. The observer is not the mind. The observer is not the world. The observer is consciousness. And consciousness in its whole is worthy of exploring. So explore your consciousness. How do I do it? Just go with it.